Around the world and across Nigeria, we welcome you to the 1st of May. Most importantly, as we mark Workers' Day today. And to all Nigerian workers, we'll have to say happy celebration and welcome to another interesting episode of Enterprise Morning on Enterprise Television. I am Henry Igwibike. In a bit, we'll be going to our newspaper headlines to see what we have for you this morning, and right after that will be our main conversation also for today. Please do well to visit our website at www.enterprisetvnews.com. Like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. With me today in the studios to do justice to our newspaper reviews is Cyril Abaku. He is a public affairs analyst and a journalist. Welcome.
Thank you.
And happy Workers' Day once more.
Except that journalists don't talk.
Yeah, exactly. You know, every day is a work day for journalists. Exactly. So let's start off our discussion today. Newspaper reviews, of course, with what is making headline news. And this is on the little rift that happened in the House today with a phantom fight. Spokesperson denies sitting arrangement. Of course, and we have it here. Danjuma Goje, senator representing Gombe Central, and Sahabi Yao, the lawmaker representing Zamfara North, had expressed displeasure about the seat assigned to them and complained to Oyemi Bamidele, the majority leader, the majority a man in charge. And however, the conversation descended into a rowdy session, which has it that the standing rules of the upper legislative chamber stipulate that senators sit according to their ranking. However, in a statement after the incident, it was dismissed that there were no disagreement about the seating arrangement in the State House. But of course, let's do some digging into that and see if there's something we would love to talk about or discuss here. Mr. Cyril, I don't know if you watched the viral video.
Of course,
what happened and what you have said.
Well, we all did yesterday, didn't we? It wasn't a good sight to behold. I think it was the other way around. They had converged after almost 40 days in recess. They had wanted to come back. I think twice they postponed their resumption.
Yeah.
Now they are back. The Senate president was addressing the House and just making some announcement and saying, Senator so-and-so celebrated his birthday while we were away. Senator so-and-so maybe had more kids while we were away, and so on. And while that was going on, Senator Yao suddenly expressed his grievance as the majority leader over sitting arrangements. It happened. And I think his manner of approach wasn't particularly friendly.
Pleasant.
Yeah, so of course, a house like the Senate is a house full of egos. Is a house full of egos. I don't think that egos of that kind can be contained in one chair. So Senator Bamidele from Ekiti also responded. It was like a tit for tat kind of a scenario. Then Danjuma Goje also weighed in. It became rowdy. The Senate president had to stop what he was doing and someone them to approach the chair. I think Yao didn't even oblige him. If the standing rules of the Senate indeed require that senators sit according to their ranks, then so be it actually. Senator Yao was my deputy minority whip, I think, in the night assembly. Again, I'll say it, if indeed the sitting arrangement requires respect and honor for seniority, for rank, you cannot afford to have it any other way.
But ab initio, aren't they supposed to know that this is what it should be? This is not their first time of having that.
So I think that exactly is now what's causing
that venue.
Yeah, so that I think is what's really causing the problem. For me, I do not think that the way the matter came to the public notice was the best way it could have been taken.
How would it have gone?
So now they were resuming to the new chamber. This is the first time they're resuming. If you didn't like anything, why don't you make a complaint? Senators really don't fight. You never really see them Look, the Nigerian Senate is run like some kind of secret organization. Maybe you don't know. Let me bring this to the table. I had a friend of a senator who became a governor say one time that when his friend was on the Senate, that in the Senate, they will tell you, you don't debate, you don't argue things here. If you have any issues, you raise it behind the curtain. But while they're in session, they don't, they don't do a looter there. You don't even see them talk angrily or harshly. You don't do that there. And what did they do yesterday? They turned it into an executive session, which means everybody left. They went to the closer. The members in the House of Reps are relatively younger,
exactly,
more feisty. But the Senate is a place for, sometimes people say it's a retirement for governors and some people who is for older, even by law, by the constitution, the age to be a senator and the age to be a rep member, they are different. So in the reps, there are relatively younger people. The Senate, of course, is higher. So it's a place they don't expect. Now look at Okpan Bamidele, former commissioner in Lagos, former governor candidate or aspirant in Ekiti. He's not a new politician. He's been in the system for a long time. He was one of Tinubu's commissioners when Tinubu was, Senator Danjuma Goje, former governor of Gombe State. You get what I'm saying? So they are not people who just left. Maybe he has a pure water, sachet water production plant or factory. Then he ran for office and became rep. You won't see that. It's people who are former bank chiefs and so I'm just talking about the pedigree of men you find there. But for Senator Yao to have acted that way, now this is where I think this whole thing is going. There has been a consistent problem. Tribal problem, really.
Exactly, because that's what I wanted to ask you. I really wanted to ask you, don't you think there is an underlying rift of Northern Senatorial and the Southern Senatorial?
Between Northern Senators and I won't even call it Southwest Senators.
Yes, exactly. Southwest Senators.
There's the and for me, again, to be honest, it is hypocritical to try to do to Tinubu what you didn't dare do to Buhari. I may not be a fan of either man, but the fact is, if you didn't do it to Buhari, why do you think of Tinubu any less? The privileges you accorded to one man with equal rank, you won't accord it to. They are complaining that Tinubu moved CBN offices to Lagos and farm to Lagos. Buhari bought government cars for Niger, built a railway built a refinery in Niger. Did they stop him? Can Tinubu do that in Cameroon?
But the question is, do you think Ningi would have been suspended if it was the other way around?
He wouldn't have been.
So why was he suspended now?
No.
Of course, because these are some of the issues that I think could be.
You're talking about if Ningi had been.
Yes, if it was on the other side, if it was a southern southwestern senator, of course, criticizing Buhari during his administration, would he have been suspended?
He wouldn't even have had the effrontery to do it. And number two, he wouldn't have. They would have blacklisted him. Don't forget that. Even Ningi, right, has had to step down as chairman of the Northern Senators Forum. In his place, you see who they brought? Yaradua. Yaradua is a brother to the late president. He will not fight the system. If he's only down, just forget about it. These are hardline conservatives. These are hard. So, but the president, I think that for me, I like I said, I honestly have issues with this attempt. President Buhari bought Tokano just without approval, without National Assembly approval. What did he do about it? Nothing. Buhari did a whole lot that in a sane democracy should have been impeached long ago. What did they do to him? Nothing. So to try to turn the tables against him and try to make it look like privilege rests with us. You cannot. No, I mean, come on. I don't see any virtue in it. But if the senators were meant to sit where they should have sat and Bamidele didn't do what they should have done, then you should go and correct it. There's no point taking fires where you don't need any fire.
Exactly. Very true.
But again, I'll say so. It's a two-way thing. what the northern senators or what I mean, I think you can touch it, you can feel it. It's like saying even if you be president, you can't enjoy it as much as
as much as the other person did.
It doesn't sit well for me.
Very true. All right, so let's move on to our dailies for today. We're starting off with the Punch newspaper, and the big headline here says Workers' Day, Labour laments a rise in food prices and fuel crisis. And the writer here says reps, NLC, NBA students reject electricity tariff hike, laments rising inflation. And the sub-writer here says queues worsen gridlock, commuters stranded, more vessel discharge, PEMS. And on the top strip of the same newspaper, we have Interpol pursues extradition of Binance chief from Kenya. Naira rebounds as dollar supply hits $7 billion in 2 months. Federal government raises salary of military, police, and others. And on the bottom strip of the same newspaper, we have 155 stranded Nigerians repatriated from Libya. Mr. Cyril, let's talk about this issue of labor lamenting rising food prices, most importantly, fuel crisis in Nigeria. A couple of days back, we talked about the effect of fuel crisis in Nigeria, and especially today, Workers' Day, a day we felt workers should have time with themselves and their families, enjoy themselves, take themselves out. Unfortunately, there are no fuel for them to do that. How bad is the situation?
Even if there was, you can't afford it. A liter of petrol for 1,000 naira, 2,000 naira, a liter of petrol. That in itself is a criminal offense against the people. It's a criminal offense. And even where you find it for that amount, you may not even see. The area of religion are shut down. You see cars parked, long queues. What is it for? Look, we're in a country where people are losing it by the day. They are losing their grip on meaning, on morality, on life, on what it means to even be a Nigerian. So for us to be piling hardship on hardship, it doesn't make any sense. Especially because this petrol scarcity is induced, is man-made, is artificial. Nobody has given us any substantive reason why we are where we are today. So the worker is being impoverished. Poverty is being weaponized. Poverty is being decreed on people. Imagine you have 5,000 naira today. You can't even tell. You're not sure what that can do. Yeah, you have 1,000 naira today. It will look as if you threw it into the water. Then let's move up a bit. You have 20,000 naira, 100,000 naira today. That money, somebody was saying the other day that they paid him 350,000 naira before he got back. That by the time he got to, in 15 minutes of getting to his house, what was left was about 5,000 naira or so. So which way then? Which way Nigeria?
So
the worker you are paying now Lagos and Edo saying how much?
70,000 naira.
Where will the worker live to pay? How much rent will he pay? That's 7,000. How much is he paying as rent? Even if he was paying rent of, let's say, 120,000 naira per annum, maybe for a 2-bedroom flat, which means that house is located beyond civilization. Is that not so? So he will be traveling from God knows where
to his place of work,
where human beings live. It doesn't hold water.
And while this rages on, what do you think the president is thinking or doing about it?
The federal government, first of all, said that they had reached a deal with Maersk to come and force a deal worth $600 million US.
For what purpose?
Well, the investment deal. You know Maersk,
yes,
the cargo,
the cargo,
the container.
Owners, yeah.
What has Maersk now said? Say we have no such deal with federal government. What an embarrassment. First, it was the UAE about visa when they said we have not lifted anything. Now it's Maersk.
Who let loose this information?
No,
if I may ask.
No, the presidency.
The presidency.
The presidency. Now they have denied again. No, they didn't say that. So you see, in Africa we say the morning shows the day. Is that not so? In my language, they say if a market will be good, you know it, from from the get from the earliest, you know if the market will be good. So the money shows it. I think that we have seen enough of this government to know where they're really headed. Okay, no, we've seen enough to know where they're going. Anybody pinning his hopes on this sort of things will wind up seriously disappointed.
All right. So while we talk about that, let's talk about the forex, and Interpol pursues extradition of Binance chief from Kenya. Do you think
we should believe that
coming?
And we should believe that. Why I don't believe it? Why I don't take it serious is very simple. Are you ready for it? What have we done to the people in Nigeria who either let him escape or couldn't keep him from escaping?
But don't you think that is an information that's not meant for the open domain?
Come on. It took a newspaper to expose the fact that the man had escaped. He escaped on a Friday. The story didn't come out until a Monday, when Premium Times exposed the story as an exclusive. Government confirmed it, and in the evening arrested the so-called security guards that are with him. Two things are at play. They didn't explain to us why a man that was facing court was not being remanded in Kuje, was being remanded
in a guest house.
In a guest house. Now that he has escaped, the people that they arrested that were watching about the guest house, where are they? How did he get access to a phone? If somebody is under trial, what are the things he can access and what are the things he cannot access? Is there no rule book?
But what is the importance of even bringing him back to Nigeria? Would that solve the backlog of the forex issues that we have?
You answer. So that's where we are.
All right. So quickly, let's move on to a Daily Trust newspaper. And the big story there says May Day NLC rejects 35%. And on the top strip of the same newspaper, kidnappings out of school children worry northern governors. And Ipman threatens shut down over 200 billion naira claims. And on the downstream of the same newspaper, we have it. Reps and BA students reject electricity tariff hike. Mr. Cyril, let's talk about this issue of kidnapping out of school children worrying northern the governors. And just like you did say a couple of days back, the United States invited 10 governors of the Northeast and North Central to educate them on how Northwest and North Central, on how best they can secure their territories. And the northern governors, I say, they worry about kidnappings of school children. what mathematics do we need to solve, and are we solving it as much as we can?
Yeah, so they need greater urgency, greater purpose, greater direction. I think that where we are today now, as we've even gone beyond where teachers in the civil service alone can take care of the out of school children issue. Maybe they should go to Europe and hire a company that can employ teachers. You see, when the governor of Kaduna State had a competence test for teachers in Kaduna State, and they failed woefully massively. So go to Europe or go somewhere, or maybe go, or even is America, okay? Hire teachers from there, give them a lot of freebies. Hire teachers, bring them home for a 6-year or 10-year program to come and teach in your schools. Augment that with local teachers who are qualified. Make sure that all the schools in the states that have been shut down after one Boko Haram attack or the other are reopened. All right? This can be done at the behest of the Northern Governors Forum, because I don't know what emergency meeting you're holding in May 2024, when most of you came into office in May last year. You're holding an emergency, and some of them are even in the second terms. You're holding an emergency meeting over out of school children, as if the thing happened last night. For me, it shows lack of purpose.
Exactly.
And sincerity. Okay? So if you're serious about it, there are a lot of for me, you must be very pragmatic. You must think outside of the box. Hire people to come in, or even if it's within Nigeria. Okay? Partner with some private schools in the south, maybe somewhere that, or even in Abuja, that have the manpower and the strategy. And take it to your state and implement it. Then incentivize education. You know what I mean? Give children money or food, whatever it is. Make schooling attractive, so you can draw them in. The Almajiri system does not is not. It may be good for a certain dimension of life, but it's not the future.
Definitely.
Because the future is for people, for us to produce astronauts, pilots, engineers, lawyers,
tech gurus, and all.
You cannot do that through that system.
Almajiri system. In a bit, let's just round up with the Guardian newspaper, and big story here says endless wait for living wage. Inflation, naira depreciates, plunge Nigerians to lowest wage earners. And on the bottom strip of the same newspaper, reps summon the petroleum minister, orders over fuel scarcity and nationwide pains. Mr. Cyril, let's talk about this issue of the House of Reps and those who occupy such positions. Do you think these people are doing a good enough job? Every time they summon one or two persons for one thing, and we don't see the result at the end of the day.
Nothing comes out of it because nothing was put into it in the first place. It's all for the image. Now let me explain what should have been what this should have been about. If reps summon a minister, they have the power of oversight on the budget. If they summon a minister and he didn't give a good explanation, the president is in jeopardy. Because the monies that have been allocated to that ministry, they can always summon ministers, heads of MDS, or come and make a defense or to come and explain what. That's accountability. If they don't say anything good, when next another request from the president comes, they can hold it down and say, go and fix your house first. But do they do that in Nigeria? When you have a Senate president and Speaker of the House of Reps that are waiting for the president to anoint them to go and become Speaker of the House and President of the Senate. And they were waiting until the president approves. And when the president finally approved, Akpabio, the Senate president, said that, in fact, wrote to the president first and said, I'm not the Senate president. And anything we do, I will send you a note to tell you that we have done that.
Okay.
Does that look like a man that wants to hold the president to account? The same thing happened for the Senate, for the Speaker of the House of Reps. It was meant to be Betara, who campaigned very well, and people overnight Tajudeen Abbas, and nothing happened. Heavens didn't fall. So what you're seeing, this thing you're seeing, I'm glad that you can look, like you say, look beyond what you see. I thank God we can look beyond what we're seeing, because what we're seeing alone is very deceptive. But when we look into it, we know that there's nothing really happening. Very
true. Well, that's just about the time we have for our newspaper reviews today. And we'd love to say thank you to Cyril Abaku for being part of our show today.
My pleasure.
Thank you so very much. And when we return, NLC rejects 35% pay rise, insists on a living wage. That in a bit. When we come back, please don't go anywhere.